everybody. Welcome to Hey, We're Talking. It's me, Scotty D. I've got Derek Tant and Bob Peel in the house.
Still not as good as Mark.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
How you doing? That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm doing great. It's been a fantastic weekend. How are y'all?
I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well.
Besides all the snow we got, everything's good.
I'm glad that we finally got snow. Been living here long enough. I need the snow. Bring me the snow. So I got it. And that makes me very happy. No, it doesn't. I'm kidding. All right. So welcome to the program. As you know, this is a podcast that you can watch visually on YouTube and Facebook. But generally speaking, if you just want to listen to it in your car or while you're jogging or while you're trying to fall asleep at night, I don't know.
Jogging?
Jogging? It's this new thing called jogging. Yeah. Just pop it into the old Walkman and put your headset on and listen to the show.
My son has said he wants me to get him a Walkman, like an official, real Walkman.
Is he going to do cassette tapes in it?
Yeah, which I have two. So,
people
just
collect
wants to
those now,
experience
right?
it. Oh,
No, but people collect them. I bet you it costs a lot of money to get the Walkman right now. That's the problem. So, all right. So, listen, today, last week, probably like Thursday, Friday time frame, a couple of different movie trailers came out. So we've been talking about different movies. One of the ones that came out that was quite interesting, Bob told me to watch it, and I watched it before we started the show. But I like Spider-Man. But it's the Spider-Man trailer. It's Spider-Man. Is it Far From Home? Is that the actual title?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a Spider-Man fan. The Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, when they came out, like, I know people look back on those now and are like, duh, stupid. But when those came out, those were freaking awesome, dude.
No, they were good, and that's when they really, really started figuring out how to do the CGI very well.
Yeah.
For Spider-Man. So there was a lot of firsts in that.
Yeah.
That group of movies that we hadn't seen before. So, and I thought Tobey Maguire did a very good job as Spider-Man.
Yeah, back then, those were amazing. And now people compare them to what happens now, and they're like, those are so dumb. But I think, weren't those Spider-Mans? Didn't the first Spider-Man come out before the Dark Knight Batmans?
Yes.
Because then all of a sudden, when those Batman movies came out, it was just like, oh my gosh, what am I watching? This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, Spider-Man is a Marvel property and Batman is a DC property, so they're kind of like exclusive from each other. The thing with the Spider-Man, they've rebooted that so many times.
Yeah.
And so there's been like 3 different Spider-Men.
Yes.
Yep. In the last 10,
Since
15
2002?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little.
Well, they would have kept the Andrew Garfield guy, but he didn't want to keep going. And they wanted to reboot it because the Tobey Maguire ones were so... By the time they were ready to do it again, putting Andrew Garfield in the role made sense to them because Tobey was...
Yeah, Toby's probably getting old and fat.
Yeah.
Now he's probably Tubby Maguire. Sorry.
But Andrew Garfield dropped out. That's why they got this new kid.
Well, and it was probably because they told Andrew Garfield, "Hey, look, we've got this long-term plan with Spider-Man. We got these movies coming out.
Yep.
You're going to make that type of commitment, yada yada yada." He probably couldn't.
You should have asked them that from the get-go, dummies.
So that's why they had. Well, I don't even know if they knew how they were going to tie it all in.
True.
So now Spider-Man, they had to reboot it to get everything to tie together for what we're watching now, the Avengers and all that stuff. So
plus having Tony, is it Stark or Stark? Why do I always want to say? I always want to say Stark because of this show Cheryl used to watch. Tony Stark, having Tony Stark being like his mentor and stuff, that was great. I mean, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Listen to the silence.
I just don't want to overstep.
You're not, you're reaching into the whole Avengers storyline, but I guess they're making them younger because they wanted to make them like super young, an actual high school student. And if you're going to be asking Andrew Garfield, he's clearly like, what is he, 34 or something like that?
I have no idea now.
I don't know. He's getting
not
elder.
A high schooler anymore.
Yeah. So, but whatever. I think that, it feels like they've they've beat that franchise to death, and I liked the ones with Tobey Maguire. 1 and 2 was okay.
Yeah.
But I think number 3
weird.
I didn't see it when it came out, but I know it got a lot of crap for being, it was like goth Spider-Man or goth Peter Parker.
There was weird stuff going on. Yeah.
It was really, I'm like, what is happening? So,
and Andrew Garfield is 35.
Yeah. See, Derek, man, you nailed that, dude. 34. You were so close. But I do like these new Spider-Mans. But I don't have, as we've talked about before, I have no like comic book allegiance. I'm not a comic book guy. I've never been into comic books. So for me, they're very easy to just kind of be like, oh, I like this one, because I don't know all the background. So it doesn't.
And you don't have to. And they're creating all these. They're telling all these stories with only the information you need to know to get you to the next movie.
Yeah.
So they're giving you a brief history and informing you of things that you need to be informed of, and then tying everything together. And Tom Holland plays the newest Spider-Man. He's 22, so nice young buck.
Man, what a great way to start your career, huh?
But the new Spider-Man trailer is pretty awesome. I mean, it's very cool. Obviously, something happens in Avengers Endgame to where Spider-Man comes back, because if you remember,
that's the theory.
Well, this movie happens right after all that stuff went down, so it's not going to be.
They don't tell you that in the trailer, though. Do you know that because of your cartoon your comic book understanding?
No, just looking at everything I can see. I mean, so something happens.
Well, because Nick Fury's there.
Yeah,
and both Nick Fury and Spider-Man died by Thanos in the first film.
Spoiler alert! If you haven't
last
it.
Avengers, Infinity War. If you haven't seen Infinity War,
you
need to see it. It's on Netflix right now.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix.
I know.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, shame on you, and you probably don't really care about this discussion, anyways. But I mean, truly,
yeah.
But
okay, so anyway, I think Bob, you and I thought the Spider-Man trailer was interesting. It seemed like Derek was just kind of like meh. And he's already basically stated he's over Spider-Man.
Well, I do like. I haven't seen the other Spider-Man that Tom Holland's in.
Really?
Why do you say it like
it's
that?
funny. I like it. It reminds me of an SNL sketch. Horatio Sands would say Wolfman instead of Wolfman. And I liked that. It made me laugh. Okay, Spider-Man. Go ahead, Derek.
I haven't seen all the
Spider-Man,
all the Marvel films. There's just too many of them. I haven't been able to,
Derek,
keep
all
track
the
of
crap
everything
that you watch. Give me a freaking break. You haven't seen all of them.
See, I have to hurry up and watch them, like when they come out, because otherwise they'll hit the list.
Yeah, people.
And you know what happens with my list.
You never see the movie. You put it on the list, but there is no list.
Exactly.
You're never going to see the films.
Oh,
yeah. I get it. That was a lot of fun.
And then, so the other trailer that came out, I'm just going to jump onto the next one here, is John Wick 3, and it's got some name underneath it, like Penderbellum or or some weird name. But it's John Wick 3. And so we're saying, like, hey, watch this trailer. And Derek's like, I don't even remember. What'd you say? You don't even remember the first two?
Here's the thing. The kind of movies that John Wick is or are, the John Wicks that they are. I love that kind of movie.
It's so fun. It's mindless.
Action.
Yeah.
It's revenge.
Yeah.
I love a revenge thriller. You get, I remember the first one, like some criminal organization murders his wife, murders his child.
No, she died.
Now
no, not his child, his dog.
His dog, that's right.
His wife died. And she left him a puppy on the day she died, like their funeral. She set up for a puppy to be delivered to him. And these thugs who wanted his car came in and killed his dog.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm going to grow a beard and I'm just going to kill all these guys. And it's a lot of fun.
Well, he's an assassin. Awesome he retired from being basically like a assassin for hire.
A badass that's retired, but I'm gonna have to get back into it,
And he really does.
Put the leather jacket on and grow the beard and just be really intense and I know I love it. I mean, I love it. I love the idea. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. There's so much on Netflix and Amazon and HBO that if I have to, I don't want to rent a movie. Like a lot of these movies that are coming out that are new, you kind of have to like Redbox them, or you have to rent them or something. Yeah, go to the local movie gallery, the movie warehouse. So I don't usually do that. Okay. So a lot of those will pass me by, but I really do think it would be a lot of fun to sit down and watch John Wick and John Wick Part 2 and have a revenge night.
Yeah, it's awesome. Keanu Reeves does such a great job acting in these movies. You never think that
it's not his
he
acting,
would be that.
It's just the butt kicking. It's just
all of it. Just his demeanor, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't expect that out of him. Yeah. But he does a great job. So before we jump off the John Wick thing, on Netflix, they now have a Netflix original movie coming out that is kind of like John Wick.
What's it called?
It's called Polar. I don't know who
Never heard of it.
Yeah, they just started airing ads for it.
Okay.
So it's basically retired assassin, doing his thing in the middle of the mountains, whatever. Right. And apparently all these assassins get have a certain amount of money, $8 million that is basically in a fund for them to, live off of forever. So apparently this group that he's with decide, you know what, if he's dead, that $8 million goes into the pot for everybody else.
Okay.
So they decide they want to go kill him.
It's a good concept.
And it is a good concept.
By the way,
and
this is a very used concept throughout many movies. But it's it's great. It's perfect.
And I don't know, I'm gonna try to look it up real quick as we're talking, but basically, one of the women is like, you don't want to, let's not do this. Let's not leave him alone. Don't even do this. And apparently he's just like a John Wick, just a total BA. And there's a young girl involved in the little town that he lives in.
This is getting really complicated.
Somehow they get to her, and it just,
Yeah, you always have to have like some young innocent person or animal that is endangered by these terrible thugs. Go ahead, Derek.
It's also like sounds like a shooter, with Mark Wahlberg.
Great. I was thinking the same thing. Shooter, great
retired
movie.
Sniper. Yep. Just leave me alone. I just want to be by myself.
By the way, Shooter, the TV show on Netflix, and it's not bad. I actually like it. Have you watched it? It's not bad.
I have not. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of rewatching all of Game of Thrones, and I am loving it.
Interesting.
Loving it because the final season comes out in April. 6 episodes. The final season. Each episode's going to be like a movie unto itself. I am so excited.
Yep.
I've said it before. I think Game of Thrones is the greatest TV show of all time.
Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
I've seen. I need to watch this. It's actually one of the movies it was one of the TV shows that I do want to watch. I've seen a couple of episodes, and I've heard it takes a few episodes to get going.
It does.
But
once you get into it, man, whew.
But I do want to watch that one too because I just love what HBO puts out.
Yep. But by the way,
you watch Game of Thrones, Scott. I'll watch Sopranos.
All right.
And
I was getting ready to watch Sopranos again because this is the 20th anniversary of the show.
Watch Game of Thrones first. Do it. Do it.
I'm not
you
into
won't regret
that
it.
Fantasy crap.
It's not fantasy. This is not.
There are dragons.
Yeah, but it's not like some old English Excalibur, that you think of from way back in the day. This is kind of like a new age. You can understand things. The storyline goes all over the place.
Like you guys are lying to me. You're going to get me trapped into this thing, and I'm going to get irritated.
The creators of the show, what they've tried to say is that there is magic in that world, but they keep it on the periphery. It's on the edge.
Okay.
You don't see it that much.
Is there a lot of incest, or is that just the first episode?
That's just like the first. Within the first 3 episodes, there's a little nudity and incest, but other than that,
after the nudity and
not
incest,
so raunchy.
maybe okay.
it's the writing and it's the story, it's the characters, it's this whole world. It draws you in. It's really good. And I thought for the longest time they underused a lot of the magic and the dragon stuff that they it's so underplayed. It's off to the side, it's off screen, you don't see a lot of it. And it's really based more on, English, the wars that, old English wars, between different clans and kingdoms fighting each other. It's kind of based on history.
Yeah, and it's not like dragons came in on the first season and it's been, let's just burn everything. It was season 3 or 4 or something before the dragons were even introduced, and they were eggs. And then
you're
they had
giving the whole show away to me, man. You're blowing it. I'm never going to be able to watch it now.
So for this last season,
the Red Wedding and whatever.
So for this last season, and this is how complex the show is,
why are we
Scott,
still talking about this?
There's literally like 7 different storylines that we've been following that are now all coming together.
Oh.
And that's why it's going to be
Weren't they waiting for the guy who wrote the books to write this? That's why it took so long?
They basically, I think after season 2, it kind of started to
evolve into
diverge from the
What's the
story,
guy's name who writes these things?
George Martin.
Okay. George R.R. Isn't it George R.R.
George R.R. Martin. He basically, I think what the show creators, they basically, when they pitched the show to him, after reading all the books, they kind of pitched, we want to do a show on this. Yeah. And he quizzed them on what they thought would happen. And based on what they said to him, he was like, all right, you get it. You understand the story. So he kind of let them do that. And he's told them how he's going to end the series and how he's going to write the books and how he's going to finish off the story. But there's still like 2 books to be published, and it's just no end in sight. Okay. So, but it's all right. I read the first book, and I started reading the second book. The first book and the first season kind of match up, but after that, it kind of just
they have to change it for TV. That's typical with a lot of books.
This is so hard for me, man, because I am so not into this magic, old English, medieval crap. I hate it.
Get through 4 episodes.
It's not crap.
4 whole episodes?
So if you can it's 4 hours of your time. Not a big deal. If you can get through 4 episodes, at that point, if you say, yeah, this is stupid, so be it. You'll never hear from us again.
I'll take the challenge. 4 episodes.
Say that each season improves on the last.
Oh yeah.
The you can tell that they keep giving it money. The production gets better. The story gets better. Everything about it improves season after season.
The nudity gets better. The gore gets better.
The nudity actually reduces.
Actually, they dropped that off. I think that was one of the criticisms. Is they in the first season and the second, they have a lot of background that they want to explain. So they were doing a thing what they called sexposition. Instead of exposition. Gosh. They would do a lot of the background stories during nudie scenes, and so they called it sexposition.
That's one of those things about like cable shows that sometimes I'm like, okay, we get it, guys. You're allowed to show sex. Can we move on to the story?
They actually did a lot of they cut a lot of that back.
But I'll tell you this: The Room has more sex scenes than Game of Thrones does.
Whenever we have a chance to get a callback to that, that's always good. We need to get a lot more drops from that show, from that movie, because it's so terrible. It's so great.
Yeah,
so great. So all right. So I'll take the Game of Thrones challenge. I'm gonna do it.
All right.
I've decided I'm going to. But speaking of Game of Thrones, I almost forgot this. This is one of the things I wanted to tell you guys. Over kind of Christmas and New Year's and when we were sick, I just decided to watch as many movies as I could handle. And I went back and decided, and they would all have like a little bit of a thread to them. So I would try to connect, like if there was somebody, like I watched Die Hard or one of the Die Hards or something like that. And if there was somebody in that Die Hard movie that I could connect to another movie, that's what I was trying to do. So somehow I ended up in Terminator movies, and I was watching Terminator Genesis. And in Terminator Genesis, the girl from Game of Thrones that has like the really long blonde hair, she's in the first, I don't know if she lives or anything or how long she's in the show, but she is Sarah Connor in Terminator Genesis.
See?
Just a little thing for you.
Now this is connecting to your next thing. See? So we're just helping you out, buddy. That's all.
And of course I thought of it because what's his name? Paris put that thing in our chat where he was like, Jason Momoa is the hottest man alive. It's Jason Momoa, by the way, I believe. But isn't he like some kind of orc lord or something in Game of Thrones?
Horse Lord.
Horse Lord? He's really a horse lord?
No, he's
I
not
just
a
made
horse.
that up.
He's a warlord. He's a warlord that rides
though.
horses. Yeah, but he's a warlord that rides a horse.
And he speaks a fake language that none of us understand, right?
Dothraki, yeah.
Yeah, Dothraki.
Just think Klingon.
Right.
They're basically Klingon.
You're not selling me with the Klingon. Okay, Bob, you were going to say something. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I did watch another movie on Netflix, Netflix original, which I've found a lot of them that I really enjoyed, but this one was kind of, yeah. I mean, you guys have to decide for yourself. It's called How It Ends. So it features Forrest Whitaker, Theo James, Kate Graham. Basically, a story about a mysterious disaster that turns the country into a war zone. I thought it was going to be a really good movie, but it kind of leaves you at a cliffhanger. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. It's only 2 hours of your time, but
Just
How It
2
Ends,
hours.
Netflix, kind of just okay, I guess.
We'll put
You're
it
really
on the
selling
list.
me on that.
We'll put it
You're really
I know.
selling me.
I'm just
That was
telling
a
you, I
good
watched
sell.
it. I'm not trying to get you to watch
We'll
it.
put it on the list. All right.
But I will say Netflix, if you want to sponsor the show, just contact us.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a long time.
gmail.com.
Speaking of sponsors, NumaCoffee.com. Go to NumaCoffee.com, PNEUMA Coffee.com. Put in that coupon code HWT. Get 20% off. Thank you for listening to the program. We're going to say bye-bye. Until next time.